Good job, Meze. Feel free to add this review to your long list of praise for your 99s. You deserved your straight A's, and the teacher thanks you for paying attention in class. Now, do us all a favor and go make an open back headphone that sounds this good.
Hello. Hi. I want to show you something. Come on, Canon. Don't fail me now. See that? So, what you just saw in these pads is all of the evidence that you need to know that what I just said in that review is true. Fast forward to the Meze lyrics, that thumbnail is me throwing the headphones, not throwing, that's an exaggeration, setting the headphones in the trash. And look, I'm not here to disrespect Meze, and I am sure they were not exactly thrilled seeing that particular take on something that they probably worked very hard on, but here's my point. When I say something is great, it's because it's true. And when I say that it's not great, I mean, it's obviously my opinion, but the same thing applies. So, the 99 Classics are incredible. Not a perfect headphone by any stretch. But here is the thing. The Meze Empyrean IIs just might be, as far as I'm concerned, a perfect headphone. Welcome back to New Record Day. It is great to have you on board. In today's video, I want to take a moment to chat about what has easily become the best, not a word that I use lightly or very often, but yes, the best headphones that have ever graced this large noggin full of audiophile nonsense. That's right. These will be around for a while, and I can assure you it is going to take a King Kong kind of offering to dethrone the mighty Empyrean IIs by Meze Audio. Only in the scenario where you first have $3,000 laying around and second are willing to spend that kind of moolah on a pair of headphones will this review matter much to you. I will be the first to admit I long for the past when the HD 600s being around $450 was absolutely insane money to spend on a pair of headphones, and yet the irony is that here we are, and while 3K is far from chump change, it's not even close to the top dogs out there right now. So it's crazy what has happened with headphones over the last decade. The build quality on the Empyrean IIs is nothing short of a work of art, starting with a nice looking hard shell case with a leather strap. The presentation is what it should be before even getting to the headphones. The latches on the case are all metal. They feel robust and they evoke confidence as being something that will last over the long haul. The second that you open up the case, you are treated with the kind of luxury that even after dropping that kind of cash would have you thinking, this actually looks and feels like it at least makes sense. Now, let me stop right here and mention that comment might make the cheap and cheerful audio enthusiasts out there cringe, and I completely understand. Do not get me wrong here, folks. There are plenty of affordable headphones out there that might look nice and they might even sound incredible, but let's just be honest with ourselves. On no planet, regardless of how much you like them or how cheap they were or what a bargain you think they are, they do not look or feel anything at all like these. Lifting these cans out of our foam-lined case, the first thing that you're going to notice, or at least I did, is just how light these headphones are. Second, after you start to focus on all of the many details on these headphones, you realize there are details everywhere to be found. Every single line on these headphones is precise. Every single bar or stem offers some kind of intricate element in the design that either has some kind of an artistic touch or a function. There are no words to describe how smooth and firm and satisfying this is to do. You have no idea. And look, if this all amounts to just a pretty face, then who cares? But that's not what's going on here, not even close. When the OG Empyreans came out, regardless of what anyone said about how they sound, every single reviewer on this planet unanimously agreed they were one of, or the most comfortable headphones you could ever imagine placing on your head. And as far as I can describe, there is no clamping force. No clamping force at all. It's crazy how these just rest on your head, and yet at the same time, they don't feel wobbly. So yeah, no ridiculous clamping force, no pads touching the inside of your ears, nothing feeling itchy, weird, or uncomfortable, even after hours and hours of playtime. Now, the Empyrean IIs, they do offer many XLR connections, which opens the door to many different cable options, knowing that the main amp that I would be using is the Ilium Amp 23R, which strangely didn't pair as well with these headphones as I thought that it would. More on that in a minute. I went with the unbalanced 1/4 inch or 6.3 millimeter jack, but keep in mind, this is just one option of many to choose from, so I'll have all the links to all the different cables down below. All right, so what do we have here so far? Build quality and comfort, design aesthetics, everything that you get with the headphone after paying $3,000, which I understand is an insane amount of money. But I'm a reviewer, so I'm gonna just weigh in. I'm gonna tell you, sorry for the noise there. It is perfect. 10 out of 10. One of the things that I noticed with the original Empyreans, and I know that I'm not the only one, is that the bass, while great sounding, it was also a little bit elevated. To be specific, mid bass and upper bass seem to lead the charge on many songs. While I would say it was tastefully done, it had a slightly enhanced sound. Trying out the Empyrean IIs for the very first time, this was the first thing that I paid careful attention to, and fortunately, for anyone who didn't care for that voicing decision, the Empyrean IIs have managed to move in a much more linear or accurate sounding presentation in all things below the belt. With the Empyrean IIs, be prepared for deep, clean, and tight bass right out of the gate. Also, be prepared for an incredible amount of detail residing within the bass. That's right, no whale farts here, and no boomy, exaggerated nonsense either. This is the kind of bass capability that I am after with loudspeakers, and only open baffle offerings get me close to this level of precision. Not only is the bass quick and tight, but the localization and texture of the bass is downright intoxicating with these headphones. So yeah, as far as I can tell,
The bass performance on the Empyrean IIs is the best I have ever heard from any headphone, period. And there's one thing that's worth mentioning for anyone who feels that the bass of these is still just a little bit elevated. A quick swap of the pads, which are magnetic, changes this in an instant. With the angled Alcantara ear pads, the bass is cleaned up even more than it is with the duo pads that come with the headphones right out of the case. But when you make that change, there are some other changes that you should be aware of. So with that, I think we need to talk about mid-range. This is what it's come to. I don't even know what to say. And I'm just as angry at myself as you are at me right now that I am holding a microphone. Here's the thing. Both Valor...
Meze just released not only the best headphone that they have ever made, but possibly the best headphone ever.
My good buddy Valor and DMS, good old Doug.
But I really do feel comfortable saying that I think this is the best audiophile fun headphone at any price.
They're holding their microphones in their videos. I think this is the secret. This video, without using this microphone, would have gotten 17 views, and 16 of those views would have been my mom. With the power of holding this microphone, the sky is the limit. So listen, while I appreciated the mid-band voicing of the original Empyreans, and certainly was one of the things that I personally fell in love with, the Empyrean II's mid-range is cleaner, and it is certainly more detailed. Now, lower mid-band, lower mid-range, think like male vocal territory, think the heart of or body of the music, sounds to me quite linear and even-handed. But as you move into the upper mid-range, things blossom in terms of finite details, and you might need to be cautious here. This is where the Ilium Amp 23R just sounded a little bit too detailed for my taste, and I found myself on the edge of the seat every single time that I was listening with this particular amplifier. Some folks might dig that sound, but this is where I felt the need to try different amps, and the LTA Z40 seemed to soften that bandwidth just a little bit. Either way, in female vocal territory, the level of precision heard in the upper mid-range can be mind-melting at times, and here is where things get crazy. For those of you who want to not only step up to the cliff of ultimate resolution, but also leap off into the abyss like a moron. You're just going to throw your body off into the abyss of insane resolution. I mean, go for it if you want. The angled pads that we just mentioned, they do exactly that. I'm not kidding here. And with the pads being magnetic and only taking literally seconds to swap, the difference between the two is not subtle at all. You will hear it immediately, and it's super easy to do. So, if details, air, and the cleanest bass on the planet is what you crave, the angled pads are the drug of choice. For a very slight V-shape experience, very slight, with a little bit more body, the duo pads, they come with the Empyreans as soon as you open up the case, they're the way to go. And they're certainly my favorite of the two pads.
I was just sitting here thinking, I could copy and paste everything that I just said about the upper mid-range, and it would apply to the treble response of these headphones. As you guys also know, I'm certainly accustomed to speaker measurements. I'm very familiar with them, but I have no clue what I'm looking at with headphone graphs. They just look like a mess to me, so I'll just point you in the direction of DMS. His review breaks this all down and should explain objectively what I'm hearing, but it all comes down to, again, detail, air, and a good helping of harmonics waiting for you to enjoy. Now, I'm careful with my words, and that word enjoy was intentional. And here is the thing. When it comes to a speaker's voicing, it might seem like a perfectly flat line is the way to go, no matter what. And at the surface level, I agree. However, most, if not all of my all-time favorite speakers don't always offer a perfectly flat line, especially at the very top. All of them, at least anechoically, from what I can measure, have a slight rise in the response, way up high, which typically smooths out as soon as you put the speakers in the room. That's what happens. With these headphones, I'm hearing a lot of the same things that I've noticed in those types of speakers that I love so much, where the top end harmonics and information in the time domain seem to stand out. So yeah, top end or treble extension on these headphones is airy and it is detailed, but it's enjoyable at the exact same time. Nothing sounds forced or over the top, and the voicing here is just plain fun, which I think that is exactly what DMS said about them. And I gotta say, Doug, I completely agree with you. These headphones are more fun than a barrel of monkeys. You know, with the Empyrean IIs, for the most part, they are an out-of-the-head type of experience when it comes to soundstage. And with, of course, any kind of material that is mixed wide. We're not talking about vocals here, but from what I can determine, these throw a stage only out to the left and to the right. And look, I mean, that extension of that throw, it can be quite large or wide when the song calls for it, but from what I can tell, the stage is confined to only the left and right image. And while I do hear some stuff just closer to the front side of my face, like around in here, I would say the stage mostly exists just off to the side. So I want to set expectations here. If there was an Empyrean III down the road, right? I would imagine, as far as I'm concerned, this would be the only advancement that I can conjure up in a long list of hyperbole that you've already heard about these headphones, that in the event where these headphones sounded even more immersive, more of a wraparound type of a feel, and who knows, I might be asking the impossible from a headphone. It just might not even be possible to do this type of a thing. It's just not going to happen, but if it did happen, there would be nothing left to improve with these headphones as far as I am concerned. Meze, man, I feel like I've known you guys for a long time, and I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say, but thank you. And I mean it, thank you. You guys started in a cramped apartment with only 4 dudes, and here you are now. With, as far as New Record Day is concerned, the only headphone that I've ever put on my head that I would say any audiophile on the planet would ever really honestly need. You did it. You won. So, hats off. I applaud you for your passion and your determination to refine over and over and over again. You keep getting better, and it's my hope that your competition can at least keep up with you. Why? Well, because with the Empyrean IIs being the best headphone on the globe, I can only imagine that everything after these can only get better. And that, my friends, is a win-win for everyone. So, with that, I will see you Meze-loving audiophiles in the next video.